Hi, I'm Sam, soon to be registered dietitian and founder of Equilibrium, where we take a balanced approach to nutrition. My first several years out of college were working as an investment banker where I had 100+ hour work weeks. So as you can imagine, those years were far from balanced. But what I want to talk about in this video are the approaches to nutrition I have today that were shaped from, those years of living a less than ideal lifestyle. First thing I learned was that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. When approaching various, health and wellness goals, you have to look at the bigger picture. So if I have these crazy work weeks, I can't expect things just to fall into place, but rather plan ahead and carve out the time to do my grocery shopping and meal prep and really lay out the groundwork so that I can execute on eating healthy throughout the week. So going into the week with 4 to 5 lunches already made, that set me up for success rather than just having a super vague statement of I'm going to eat healthy lunch this week. Now I figured out a way to actually do that. Tying into the last lesson is scheduling life. Now, life can throw all sorts of things your way, but actually scheduling out the things that you want to prioritize makes a world of a difference. So whether it's making sure that I schedule in time to work out, to grocery shop and meal prep, like I just discussed, those are things that you want to treat in your calendar the same as any appointment or meeting that you have for work. Now, this one may come as a surprise to many of you, but one thing I learned was that you can actually eat out every night and still stay on track. Don't get ahead of yourself here. Yes, I was eating out 5, 6, sometimes 7 nights out of the week, but I was being mindful about this. So it's possible, but you have to really put a lot of thought towards the decisions that you're making. It doesn't mean indulge every single time you eat out. You can't treat every time that you eat out, unfortunately, as a special occasion. So for me, what this looked like was, one, I would predetermine ahead of time what I was going to order for the night. So rather than waiting until my stress levels were at their highest, when my hunger levels were at their highest to make a decision, which would likely result in less healthy or optimal orders. Instead, I would kind of decide earlier in the day what I would get for dinner if I would have to stay late. So that decision was already kind of done for me, and I was less tempted to indulge when that wasn't aligned with my goals. So recognizing the times that are worth indulging versus the times that, you're better off trying to make a decision that's a little more aligned with your goals so as not to set yourself way back. Also goes hand in hand with this is just looking to prioritize proteins, opt for healthier sides, stuff like that. Really, again, recognize when it makes sense to indulge versus when it makes sense, say, eating in a cubicle. I don't necessarily need to be having the most extravagant meal ever versus maybe a birthday dinner or a celebration dinner. That's when I may opt for something a little more splurgy. So it's all about balance. Another key lesson I learned was at all costs, seek ways to eliminate decision fatigue, minimize friction. In reaching our goals, there's always going to be obstacles. So seeking the path of least resistance will do wonders. For me, this might look like, having a list of go-tos for ordering out or, quick and easy dinners that I can whip up. So having those ingredients on hand in the freezer. When you get home from a long days of work, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but typically I don't feel like spending a ton of time debating what I'm gonna eat, figuring out what I have on hand. It's a whole process. So eliminating any decision fatigue that you might have, eliminating just all of the options so that you can really grab for the healthiest one when, ordering takeout may seem like the most straightforward option. You have something else already prepared or, close to prepared. for you. I'm sure you're catching on to the trend about now, but another lesson that kind of snowballs on with the others is that you can have anything but not everything all at once. So I'll use an example. When I order out at a Mexican restaurant, sure, I could eat 3 refills of the chip baskets before I even get my dinner, fill up on that. Then I get my dinner. I want a couple margaritas on the side. I'm not quite done. I need a palate cleanser, so I'm gonna go for a dessert. You're opting for every possible option. Instead, think of it as, really picking and choosing what it is that's worth it for you. So for me, I don't get too much satisfaction from ordering a drink versus not. So if I'm really being mindful at the time for my health goals, I might opt to, just get a Diet Coke instead and skip on the calories from a margarita because, to be honest, don't really think it makes or breaks my meal whether or not I have one or not. Same with the chips. I might not, completely turn them down because I don't really have that much self-control when it comes to chips. I love my chips, so I'm going to, serve them onto a plate, and that's my allotment, portion control there. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm not filling up and not even gonna be able to enjoy my meal because I've had so many chips. Then when I get my meal, enjoy it. If I want dessert, maybe share it with a friend. That way, you get little bits and pieces of what you want, but you're not leaving feeling like you've steered yourself way off course. You can have anything, just not everything all at once. Another powerful lesson I learned is how important your inner dialogue is in the story that you tell yourself. For example, when I first started full-time, all of the incoming analysts would talk about, how inevitable it would be that they were going to put on pounds. All of my more senior coworkers would reminisce about the days where they were at their peak before they entered their full-time jobs. And so it was easy to, fall into the trap of just assuming, hey, like, I'm gonna be a little fluffier in the next few months, I'm gonna put on a little bit of weight, I'm gonna skip the gym a bit. Really have to take an active role in, whatever direction it is that you want to go with your health and wellness goals. So for me, it was being pretty strict and, determined that I wouldn't do that, and telling myself that, this is something that's important to me. And I really do believe that that really shaped the outcomes that I got and kind of helped me steer away from that trajectory that so many people did fall into. Really, as cliche as it may sound, changing my mindset really did make all the difference. Lastly, I learned the value of setting non-negotiables. Now, while I may have been a little bit stricter on myself than maybe I would advise people to do now, the rules that I set really did play a role in the outcomes that I achieved. So for example, for me, I was working really late nights, and that I could kind of foresee being a very easy excuse to fall onto if I wanted to skip my workouts that I had planned for in the morning before work. So for me, it was important to kind of set a rule for myself that if I was able to get to bed by a certain time, which I actually did set like in a specific time that if I was in bed by, I had to go to the gym in the morning. I wasn't allowed to use that as an excuse, versus if I did get to bed a little bit later after that set time, then, I would consider maybe sleep is a little bit more important to me here. This could look different for everyone, what your non-negotiables are, whether it's a step count, making sure that you get more, movement throughout your day, whether it's, incorporating a certain number of vegetables throughout your week to make sure you're getting a variety of whole foods. It really just depends on what your goals are, and kind of setting that, minimum, even on a suboptimal day, you're going to hit this threshold. So that I found to be very useful, and is something that I still kind of incorporate in my day-to-day life now, though just not quite to the degree and strictness that I had in the past. And there you have it, my key lessons learned during my time in investment banking. I'm so glad that period of my life is over, but those lessons have definitely shaped how I approach nutrition even to this day. So I hope it gave you some things to think about, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or 100+ hour work weeks like I was. If you liked this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who may need some extra nutrition inspiration. Also, comment below what your biggest struggles or challenges are as you face a busy schedule and try to tackle nutrition. I'd love to help you out there, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.